Hello and welcome to another video. So today we are checking out a portal deck. This is of course Omen, Maisha, bloody basic portal deck I guess. I don't think it has a crazy high name since it's not really puppets or artifacts of course, although puppets definitely what it leans towards for the most of the part, but it's definitely Omen-esque as most of the deck does revolve around, of course, bumping up Omen and Maisha, so we'll go with Omen Portal. Does a really good job of dealing with Haven and dealing with any other big card decks, since a lot of good removal and a lot of good cards to use. Of course, Destructive Reframe, Omen of Destruction, Zwei, all those cards work wonders together, so we'll get right into it and check it out. Have for today's games are both against a Rune, very popular on ladder, Rune, Portal. You should expect those 9 times out of 10, honestly on ladder, one of those two. We start off with a little bit of an awkward hand. Double Puppet Shock, and that is not that good. Definitely not what I would want to go for. And Goblin isn't really a huge problem. My sword will live through legend. Legendary Fighter though we do have to deal with, so I do throw the Zwei out, making sure to get rid of it before they can potentially add some buffs to it. And they just continue to pump this board. Lucky for us, we do have Puppet Shock for turn 3, which is actually fairly decent. Getting rid of the 1-2 there. Making sure it just can't be buffed up either. It's really what this deck focuses on, making sure the opponent doesn't buff up their cards. And now we've got a pretty comfortable turn to go for Omen.
Show me how much you worship me. The sharpest shot. Me or the world?
So we can remove the 1-2 and the 3-1 without having to worry. We're going to be left with one Goblin. Not really a problem. Especially when our opponent only has 1-2 cards in their hand. Not really a big issue yet. Although we do have to deal with this 3-5, which is definitely not the one that I'm going to have fun with. So using Marionette Lad, we can do this without losing our Omen, or we can just trade them equal ore and get our 4-1 left as well. So we had a couple of good options. Probably should have left the Omen up, I think, though. I could have traded the 1-4, used the puppet, sent the Omen into the other one. Overall, it probably would have been better. Now, we do have to get rid of the 2-2, which luckily for us, with puppets, we can do that again. And we want to try and hold an Evo for Maisha for as long as we can, but we still want to be able to remove as much of this board as possible. So I decided to use the Gear Turner, mainly because he generates a puppet, whereas the other one does nothing. This way, if I throw the puppet onto the board, I get the extra heal, which is nice, plus set up Destruction in White to be playable next turn pretty easily, along with Destructive Reframe. So this looks pretty good overall. So we don't actually even need Destructive Reframe. Joy of Destruction will easily take out the 7-2 here. And that'll allow us to actually set up some followers, which will go really well with Destruction in Black, so we should be able to nearly have that playable next turn. Making it almost impossible to recover. And that's pretty perfect, honestly. We can throw all our followers into this, and we can start with Destruction in Black. So from here, we don't really need much at all. We just need to wait a couple of turns out, and we can pretty much win the game. Especially since that was a pretty bad swing overall. Especially with this heal, this is definitely going to save us any hassle. Just in case they potentially had a good card. And that's definitely the way to end the game. Now on to our next Haven matchup. We're playing against Rune again, sorry. Our next Portal matchup against Rune. I don't know why I said Haven. That was a weird instinctive thing to say, but such is life. So I threw the Disciple away. We're going to hold on to everything else. Maisha actually can become good if you get your one-off, I think it's Apostle. I'm not sure. The one that basically will destroy it and make it cost 0. So the Rune player, of course, good turn 1. We don't really have anything going hard on this, but Hoverboard Mercenary is definitely one of the better cards for the turn 2 slot. They're in Hoverboard, so now we're playing a mirror game. But I am playing ahead a little bit, which is good. Alright, 4 Hoverboard Mercenaries on board. That is a pretty interesting strat so far for the both of us. Puppet Shock, though, is going to at least kill off the 1-2, and then the 2 Mercenaries can easily gang up on the last one remaining. And we can actually start getting our hands stocked up pretty well for the following turns. This does look pretty good. Marionette Lad coming in strong. Probably should have used the puppet, to be honest. Although I did want to kind of hold the puppet for the Lich play. Plus, puppets have some pretty good value, so that did end the game fairly quickly, but once you get a good run off the early game, that's all you really need. So this deck does function pretty easily. The second game, while not being the best, showcases just how easy it is to generate cards, which is always an important factor with this deck. You want to be using your early draw cards, early generation cards like Marionette Lad, to overrun your opponent and really limit what they can play. As you saw, the Rune player didn't really deal any damage to us up until that point, and even from there, we probably could have easily dealt with that. We had a pretty nice setup for the Maisha coming forward, and only really needed these low-end cards to deal with a lot of what Rune can throw out in that early to mid game. It would have only been the late game where we would have needed some of these bigger cards to come in, which, at that point, shouldn't have been an issue. So if you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see more like it, be sure to check out the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, and find the deck in the description below, and until next time,